is that? That's the chief.
Hello and welcome back once again, my friends, pioneers of werewolves, divergence, and glitches, to another episode of the Daily Candle Close News. Sending you all much love and high vibrations out to wherever it is you may be in the matrix and galaxy. Today I made it. I'm back home in sweet home Alabama. Yes sir, yes ma'am. I am here, me and my son, where he calls home, where he was born finally, back on top of the mountain. Alright, certainly I hope you're doing well, pioneers. Got a lot to talk about. I know I've been MIA. Big things coming. I told you, to the Daily Candle Close News, and we ain't even got started yet. We just got the new house, that's all. New car, that's all. I'm telling you what, big things still coming. And I hope they come into your life too, cause I'm sending you love, abundance, and gratitude, pioneers. How have you been, my friends? Divergence, glitches, pioneers. I know there may not be a lot of people viewing right now, so I hope you catch the replay. It's Saturday, Saturn Day, so hopefully you're out in Mother Nature. No place I'd rather be than off my balcony with the birds, bees, leaves, and trees right now. I hear you. I tell you what, I understand that you may be living your life, doing your thing, working, playing with your family, taking your pets for a walk. Who knows? Maybe you're fishing. I don't know. I'm sending you love, though. It's been a while, so I'm back at it again, my friends. Coming to bring you the cryptocurrency news. I don't know recently if you guys have been aware that, that blood moon eclipse that we just transition through on Pi Day 314 was a big talking point in the crypto space. But I still believe there's more to this, that we haven't all got the answers figured out. It's a continual life lesson. That was a big day talked about in the crypto space for the last going on 2 years in my work. I know really a 4 to 6 year thesis we built in 2020 when the world shut down to be able to fulfill this dream we just did right here. Have that new life, that fresh start back home in a new home, So we took advantage of that this year, at the beginning of the year, late last year, as the markets were in its high back in December and January, all the way up until the 12th and 20th of February. I shared we're going to be de-risking days for Coach Abe, the Master Chief here, to, take advantage of this market, what we've been given to fulfill my life dream of becoming a first-time homeowner so that I can leave a generational wealth and legacy for my son and family. So that was this red day right here, okay? Where if we would have followed gold's trend, we could have seen possibly that $117,000. But instead, we decided to take a leg towards that $74,000 range that we talked about throughout this entire almost 6-month time period now. Okay, because if we go back to when this rally started on November 4th, remember the 5th of November, until now, we see that's been a roughly 140 days roughly. So going on almost 6 months, right at that 5-month mark roughly now. Okay, so 180 days, 6 months, if it takes even longer to figure out what we're doing in the markets here. Something that I've been bringing up this year in our private twice a week classes at the dailycandleclosenews.com, where we invest in striving tomorrow's leaders, but is at our meetings is we've been talking about, back in 2023 we traded sideways for roughly 7 months. Back last year we traded sideways for roughly 8 months. What if we're seeing more sophistication in this cryptocurrency market that's been highly speculative and volatile for the last almost 2 decades now start to slow down some? Okay, so we know diminishing returns, the laws of that, etc. What I'm getting at is, what if we see in 2025 a 9-month trading period of sideways chop price action? It's just a hypothetical, okay? It's just something we've been bringing up because what if it happens? Well, we were going to be prepared for it this entire time. There's always a if and when situation in trading or in cryptocurrency, in stocks and investing, because if price does this or when price does this, I am going to react this way. I build that thesis around my actions, and then I apply action to my thesis when the markets react. I take advantage. So, it's just a suggestion, not financial advice. But, anyways, we knew our support of 85,000 had to hold, okay? That didn't. I have that on another chart, roughly right here. And then the support of 90,000, we see we clearly lost as well. Wherever that chart, right there. So there were 2 major supports that we had been talking about. And of course, a range that we needed to start breaking and holding above, which was 96,000. It seemed to be a pretty good support resistance flip from the time we rejected from it, say right here, or the time we lost this 4-month trading period of holding 96,000. It just so happened to be on some very scripted dates. Say my X post, my Twitter post, when I shared with the world that all I was going to say was February 12th, the day leaving 223 days left in the year, or 322. Yeah, sorry, said it backwards. Today's 322. And February 20th, the day leaving 314 days left in the year. And then, of course, we teach about the microstructure reset of the 21st and 22nd of every month. The 21st giving us a slightly higher high, a fake out, a bull trap, and then a push down. Okay, so again, that pi connection bringing us into this recent Pi Day eclipse, okay, that we have now pushed past and seen even higher prices. Okay, so we've recently fallen to that roughly that $76,000 range, depending on what chart you look at. And again, it's connections to, of course, Skull and Bones. Today is 322 Skull and Bones Day, the number associated with Order 322, or the Brotherhood of Death, giving us that very powerful 76. And of course, to start today, Beltane, a 40-day sacrifice ritual time period where we tend to also see fire rituals or events with children. unfortunately. We, of course, see 76-year-old George Foreman die and pass away and leave this realm. Something I broke down and shared with my pioneers in a message this morning. Our Skull and Bones Brotherhood of Death ritual for 322. Something just last week we were talking about, getting ready for this time period of, say, the vernal equinox and the spring equinox, or the transition into Aries, the high realm above, Hiram Abiff, and we see a sacrifice, and leading into 322, Skull and Bones Day, or the 21st, 22nd microstructure reset recycle in the markets. Okay? But anyways, I told them it could be a death ritual, etc., etc., and here we are. Once again. So something irrefutable, undeniable. I broke down with them. He dies 2 months and 13 days after his birthday. Of course, death in the satanic cipher equals 213. We see his death today on Skull and Bones Day, the Brotherhood of Death, Order 322, March 22nd. He died yesterday, 321 go. But it was given to us late hours into the day today, where the world would see the news. Okay, so George Edward Foreman giving us that 79. Okay, this happens coming out of the 79th day of the year. Sorry about that. Gotta skip these ads, but that's the gold element, the 79th element. That is alchemy. We are seeing lead turned into gold here. Order created out of chaos. 222, George Foreman 222, or Big George, the 75-57 connection again. So he lived 75 full years, dies in his 76, Skull and Bones connections on Skull and Bones Day. Okay, we're heading into it, the transition day of today. Okay, this is the ritual. This is starting Beltane. Okay, so this will run from 322 until May Day, May 1st. Okay, so very powerful. Just irrefutable, undeniable. He died 128 days after the Jake Paul Mike Tyson fight. I know you all remember that. We did a Bitcoin to $144,000. Bitcoin to 99,000 in a Titan ritual during this fight. Jake Paul showing you in the picture of this fight the symbolism. I didn't necessarily know it would be the obviously George Foreman death, but I could tell off that symbolism something was coming related to boxing. Sure enough, not surprising. So there was a lot of talk around Mike Tyson's health at the time, problems before the fight, etc. Still fought. So who knows? I didn't really obviously know who it was going to be centered around. I didn't necessarily know it was going to be a death neither. But I could see that they were showing us something with boxing there. And sure enough, I think this is a pretty good connection to that. That 128 being a number associated with disaster the last several years in my work. Something I've shared in blog post videos or with my group and classes, etc. So, making a lot of sense to me. Alright, but we are done with that. I won't spend too much time on it. I'm sure others will speak about it ad nauseum. We've been MIA for too long to get lost in the sauce, to confuse anybody. But yeah, this was something I had talked about for several months. I think people hated me for it, especially in my group. They got tired of hearing about a $74,000, retest of last year's highs. To me, I had saw for quite a while now, a year now, or so, this March 14th time period that, like I said, back in 2020 had planned to do what you see here, change my life. I spoke about it with several people over the last years, even in a very respected podcast, I believe, that I did last year. Even mentioned something about this blood moon eclipse and how interesting, it would be to see what the markets look like come in Q1 2025. And since then, I've noticed the world has kind of, treated this date as something that's became extremely popular, damn near feeling like the Great American Eclipse last year all over again. And so, and for those that don't remember that time period, that was right back here at another lower high in the market before we rolled over even lower. Sorry. My mom's calling. Give me one second. Alright, you guys, told her I'd call her back in a few. But anyways, it felt like this time period had become very popular. So, I do think it holds its symbolic meaning, its importance. It was a full moon. It was a full blood moon eclipse. Not that the blood moon means anything, it's just a terminology that people have associated with its coloring over time. Just like April's pink moon, it's no different. But I really think there's more to the market than, the eclipses, etc. Like I said, I do think they hold their important meanings. We saw that back in the last cycle, during a lunar eclipse, a total lunar eclipse and a double eclipse period. We were, transitioning very similar to what we're doing now. Possibly entering another period before another big move up or down, right? I do believe Bitcoin's still got another leg up in it, a blow off top price discovery type of momentum, but only time will tell. It is my thesis that we have one more. So I do feel like, it could be something very similar to this, though, where we set a slightly higher high, roughly that $117,000 to $128,000 range. I believe there's a reason why we keep seeing this 128 in the code. Again, if we look at the weekly time period and this massive cup and handle pattern that we've been in, your measured move is exactly 128,000. So I've got that drawn on a chart somewhere, but I'm not going to waste your time trying to find it. You've seen it for years if you followed my work. So, only time will tell. Does Satoshi Nakamoto's birthday, bring us that before April 10th, say April 5th on his birthday, or April Fool's for an April Fool's rally? All daring cherry blossom season starting March 25th, just 3 days from now? Are we mere moments away from historical highs? Only time will tell, pioneers. But this is something we all talk about. We're all going to go over tomorrow night in our next class when we do one. Then we've got one scheduled for Tuesday and Friday as well this next week. Trying to get back on the Tuesday and Friday schedules. We'll see how things go. New life, new home, new job, new state. Again, so yeah, but going well so far, I will say that. Plan to be right back into the hopefully weekly live streams with you all here on YouTube to continue to give a little bit of the prana, a little bit of the sauce that we talk about extensively in our classes. Multiple hour classes twice a week, sometimes 3 classes or more, depending on what the markets are doing. So anyways, let's check the live stream, you guys. Let's make sure we have no questions in the chat. Where are you at? I guess it's on the other page. Down goes Frazier. Jacob B83 said, "What up, brother? Not much, my friend. Just chilling, just relaxing. Just going over some cryptocurrency market analysis and, just getting back into the full swing of things." Plato's bro here said, "Here for the gems, coach." Hey, well, you are the gem, my friend. Don't let somebody sell you anything different, you know? Don't let somebody else sell you a dream when you are the dream. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're it. You are it. I'm trying to buy into you. You know what I'm saying? How can I buy into Plato Bro stock? I mean, let me drink some of my grape and orange juice that we squeezed. Cheers. I mean, no doubt. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to buy into each and every one of y'all's stock, man. But yeah, so we'll get back into it. I don't know, I've been sharing, I think I'm the only one that brought it up, pulled a fib from the ETF highs and lows of this past time period. At least I hadn't seen nobody sharing it, right? Hey man, shout out to the Cash App, man. Much love. Thank you, Plato's bro. I already know who it came from. Spirit of Simeon 322 on 322. Much love. Thank you. So man, y'all make my day. Anyways, we pulled the fib from swing high to swing low of January ETF highs by the rumor, sell the news event that we coached about after the short squeeze from November 7th, the dumb money release about the GME short squeeze, right? So Bitcoin 117, it's amazing that it dropped and aired on that day on certain streaming platforms. I think it was created in September, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, I pulled a fib, the past several months and talked about this 4.236 that we had hit, and the must hold was the 3.618 at, again, that $90,000 range, that previous cluster high resistance before we flipped it as support for about 4 months and then lost it because we kept rejecting the hold 96,000 up until, imagine that, February 23rd, 223, and then we sold off. Here we are on 322, coming out of lows possibly. Could push back down into 75, 76,000. Imagine Skull and Bones 76. Crazy. Cycle started in 223, the Skull and Bones year. Oh wow, damn. Anyways, I'm just saying this whole cycle has been tied to Skull and Bones. We're currently at the 223 EMA right now, getting resistance from it, okay, and could possibly push down to the 322 one more time at around 76, 75,000. I'll shut the fuck up. But like, nobody's gonna give it to you like this, okay? Been doing it for years though. Everybody else gets your prana and your fucking whatever. But anyways, I'd like to see this 93,000 hit again the 21 EMA on the daily time frame. That would be bullish. That would give us a chance to get back up into 96 and then possibly 103, 107, which is what this daily fallen wedge measures out to, is roughly 107 again. Master Chief 107 giving you that. I'll shut the fuck up. It's just what we do. You know what I'm saying? I don't know of anybody else that was calling for 74,000 when everybody else was still calling for highs. It takes time, right? Cherry blossom season in 3 days, I do believe, is another pivotal point. Just like the eclipse, it's just a pivot point for the markets, right? That's how we need to treat it. Not give it the highs or the lows value or whatever. Because again, we're currently trading higher than when we were on the eclipse a few days ago. So, cherry blossom season, I do believe, is when we could possibly see another peak in these markets, okay? And just so happens to be Bitcoin's father's 50th birthday, that Jubilee birthday, that biblical birthday. So, imagine that. The 4 or 5 day, April 5th, is, that time period approaching is going to be very powerful and possibly in the peak of cherry blossom season. So imagine that. Could we see the markets blossom? Or are they going to give us another opportunity to plant ourselves to blossom in the future? Either way, I don't mind, because I've already taken advantage. Took advantage of December 17th and 18th like we taught you, and then we took advantage of the inauguration day. That was signs of continuation with a higher high, yes, but it's going to take time. Okay, we know that. We knew that. But it was a de-risking opportunity. It was sentiment. Really, you could take advantage of it at the time period. Then just read that you had bearish divergences forming, RSIs on the 2 hour, things like that were overheated, etc., etc. You had signs of worry, right? Or just signs of greed, extreme greed. So you want to take advantage and be worried, be fearful, take your profits, right? And then the 12th and the 20th of February, where we failed to break back above the 21 EMA and kept getting resistance into a bull trap. So now we're able to plant ourselves even further into this market because we took our profits. And if we drop even lower, back to 76, 75,000, or even lower, historically to $62,000 range, the previous cycle 1.618 that we've done 3 times in history, every cycle. So only time will tell. A 1, a 2, and this could be our 3rd time. Is this the right? Yeah, let's look at it on a weekly. There we go. 1, a 2, and this could be the 3rd time we do it in history. But returning to the previous cycle's 1.618 after extending above it. Yeah, it could show that we spend several months here. Like the question I asked the pioneers about, could we do 9 months of trading here? Take us to around that August, September, October time frame of, if we're gonna do, ask yourselves this. I'll share this with the world first before I even share it with my group, right? So my group need to be in this live stream to hear it first, right? Not the other way around. If we're gonna, like I've been sharing, see as above, so below to last year's Pi Day, highs and lows, could we also see as above, so below to August lows to August highs this year? Ask yourself that. It's just a suggestion. It's just a hypothetical. Let's say it's under construction type of review. Okay? So, just gonna leave that there. Alright. Okay, got the 432 subscribers now. 432, the heartbeat of the earth. The frequency of earth. I like that. Alright. Support of 85,000 that we really need to start reclaiming. If not, again, we can lose this 223 EMA on the daily time frame if we keep failing to close above it. Come back to the 223 at around 78, 76,000 and retest this previous fib channel. Okay, that gave us a great bounce, but if we lose that, that's where we could see 71, 66,600, and then that $62,000 range, this lower fib channel as well. But yeah, don't tell nobody. Alright, this is critical though. This is talking about the 223, 322 EMAs that we've taught about for years. Please don't make them fucking popular. Just use them, don't share them, fuck it. I've shared them for years and nobody wants to use them. So guess what? Just keep doing that. Just use them, look at them, review them, and hide them. Okay. Is what it is. We definitely don't want them to fucking become popular. We see what happens when shit becomes popular. So, but anyways, we'll leave that alone. XRP still right there at that $2.36 in this falling wedge. We could see a fight for 262, 272 very soon, our level to break and hold. And if we do that, I think we're back into the $293 range, and then we could be seeing $4 to $6 easily very soon. Then I'll be looking for that $8 range, and then shooting to front run 10 if we were to get it. But I think it's all determining what happens when we finally break this level. Something we've been sharing for going on 6 months now. Call me the GOAT, whatever. Master Chief is what it is. We've been sharing these levels at 236, 262, and 223. They've been extremely important resistance and reaction levels of support. Now that we're back above them in this kind of inverse head and shoulders, left shoulder, head, right shoulder type of vibe that we could be getting here. Really bullish on the next several days for the entire world. Cryptocurrency, etc., stocks. Cherry blossom season is amongst us, you guys. Something that I've taken pride in being the only one to bring to the forefront of investing in cryptocurrency, stocks, etc. I've never seen anyone else share it. It's just something that I don't know, always enjoyed being a part of. I've kind of grew up around them here in North Alabama. They're natural growing. They thrive here. My grandmother's always had them in her yard, my mother in hers. So, learning more about them culturally around the world as time went on throughout my lifetime, to now wanting to plant some in my backyard right here. It's a few days away, cherry blossom season. It runs from March 25th to April 10th. So weeks of potential blooming opportunity for your life, for your investments, markets in general. So something to just kind of notice and pay attention to over the next several years as you endure your journey. I think this is year 6, 7 for me now, that I've been applying it to my thesis, kind of building this thesis for a few years, and then the last several years sharing it with everyone transparently after seeing how it was aligning, after studying its past data and seeing how it aligned. It's very interesting, that March-April time period for the markets, sometimes it always tends to line up with that Beltane ritual. Historic highs leading into utter dismay shortly after. Again, this is something that I think, if we see again April highs, a surge in April, that April Fool's rally, don't be a fool, right? It's something that I think could happen very quickly, and not many people are aware how fast that could be. But yeah, I think I'm about to get off here and give my mom a call, you guys, and see and check in with her, make sure she's all good. But I just definitely wanted to come out and share cryptocurrency with you guys, speak about the markets, kind of get back into the full swing of things, share my journey with you all, let you all know I'm still here. I wasn't expecting to end it so soon, but I have been waiting on a call from my mom the last few days, so I'm going to finally catch up with her after kind of my first full week here in Alabama again. I do miss her, I ain't gonna lie. It was a big move, and she helped me. She come down here for a few days, helped me get things situated, and unpacked, and then she went back to work and stuff. Went back to home, her house in North Carolina, where she grew up and was raised, right? Full circle type stuff. But anyways, I am about to jet, you guys, and just relax the rest of the day. I'm off tomorrow. We got class tomorrow night, TradeAholics and Fibonomics. Going to be talking about a lot, spending several hours, going over trading, investing, talking about what's going on in the world stage, seeing how everybody's doing, of course. That's important. But, next week, Saturday, Sunday, weekend live stream. Who knows? It could be during the week. It just depends on what we see happen. Obviously, I'm going to be out here again with my group on Tuesday the 25th, the start of cherry blossom season, so you need to go to dailycandleclosnews.com and get signed up to be there. And then again on the 28th, Friday, right there around the start of the new moon, the transition into the new moon around the 28th, 29th of this month, right before that April Fool's rally. And we'll be back again on April Fool's Day for that April Fool's rally potential that could be, could potentially be the discussion, a topic right there for our next class the following week. So, yeah, with all that being said, like I said, much love, Plato's Bro, Jacob B83, all the viewers in between. I appreciate that. Means the world that you came in, and that you hopefully are reviewing this. But go sign up, go to more, book online, and you'll find us. But yeah, pioneers rise, build your fortress, build your legacy. Until the pen rise again, my friends. It's like, dang, we don't even remember how to end it. It's like we just hit end, right? But yeah, it's been a while, you guys, getting back into it. So, take care. God bless.